Hi, welcome to Derek Does. Today, we're doing this. Hi, welcome back to Derek Does. Thanks for joining me. If you're new here, please subscribe. I think you're gonna find something I have that will interest you because I have a lot of stuff, a lot of vintage stuff, and today I'm going to be doing it on this telephone. Now this telephone is my personal telephone. I bought this or found this telephone probably 15 years ago or so, at least. This is a Western Electric Type 202 telephone. They were made from, I believe, like 1928 to 1938 or in that range. And then after that, they made the 302 telephone, which is kind of a more modern one that you're used to seeing. And then after that, it was like the 502, I think. They always had an 02 on them. Now there was a 102 that was like this, that had a different base on it. They only made for a couple years, but then they made this one. This is a classic desk phone. It'd be in your house. I used to have them hooked up back when I had a landline, and they actually work. They're fine. The only thing is it's a rotary dial, so don't be in a rush to call somebody. But you can see it's just a beautiful telephone. It's small. It has this wonderful headset with even a little inset there so your voice can go straight into there. This is a, what is this? I'll tell you, it's an U.S.N headset. They had different headsets for, you could actually, again, I think as most things back then with the telephones, you never actually owned the telephone. I think the phone company owned the telephone and you basically just kind of rented it or leased it from the telephone company. That's how they used to do things back in the day. That way you have to keep upgrading for the telephone. And eventually they came out in colors and you could get them in different colors. Now this one has, I believe it's a bakelite and the receiver's this way. It's small, you can pick it up. It has a kind of a leathery bottom. So it rests on your desk fine. It'd be great for an office, that sort of thing. Today, nobody really uses these anymore. I'm sure there are some people that still do, but obviously these are kind of gone out of the way as cell phones and other things have taken over. But if you wanted it like just as a, I hate to say prop, but on your desk of vintage things, this would be a beautiful phone for that. As you can see, it has a real dial, and I'll do close-ups too, and I'll show you how it works. This is the original dial. It's enameled. You can see there's a little chip right here. This is actually enameled, and you would call your number and it would take you that long to call the number. And you're thinking, well, where's the, what happens if you get a phone call? How would you know if you got a phone call? Well, you need bells. And this telephone, which is a lot like the candlestick phones before it, that I'm sure you've seen if you watched Andy Griffith. I think he had one. This one would be like Dial M for Murder, if you ever watched that. I think there's actually a photo of this on the cover of that movie. But you actually have to have a separate unit for the telephone bells. And for this to go through, it would send a signal to that and that would go to the phone company. I have that also, but it's big. So it's this unit. So you would have the telephone, and then you'd have this unit either mounted to the wall, or you'd have it like under a desk or something along that nature. But you have transformers in here, and your bells, and everything's in here for when the phone rings. And you just release this screw, and this whole unit opens up, and you can get to it if you needed to, if you were so inclined. But just to give you an idea, this was a dual unit, but what you do is you would hide this again under your desk. Oh, you can hear the bells. That's what it would sound like. And then this is where your phone would just be on your desk, and it's nice and it's out of the way. And you can pick it up. It's easy, move it around in the room with you. But I'll give you some close-ups of this. It's just something that I pulled out from stuff I have. I have two old vintage telephones. I have this one, and then I also have an old wall vintage telephone that I'll probably do another video. Depending if people enjoy this one, I'll show that one also. I'm thinking I might be selling these just because they're just sitting on a shelf. I'm not using them. I don't have a landline anymore. I don't really have a vintage office setup that I used to have. I used to have a really cool, with a whole bunch of vintage stuff and that sort of thing. I don't have that anymore. So basically those are just sitting, not being used. And it's a complete unit and it could easily be used. So that's something that I think would be kind of cool if I could find somebody that would want that sort of thing. But, and also it's the complete setup. A lot of times you might find the telephone, but you won't find the bell receiver because people would have kept the telephone, but they forget that you need the other part for it. And, well, I just did it again, didn't I? You need that. So let me do some close-ups of the telephone. You can kind of look at the details of it and just the art and the craftsmanship that went into making a simple telephone. Well, here's the telephone. You can see just how pretty it is. I think they are, at least. You have this bakelite handle, and I'll show you all the features of it. But you pull it off. This is your operator. So here's your dials. This, I'm sure, is an original that was put into it. This wasn't used where usually the people would put the phone number of their own on the phone, but this one they never did that. And you can see where it's actually cracked there and right down there on the enamel. You can buy replacements of all this stuff if you need to. So there's the 1, and then if you want to do the 0, that's how long it takes. And now if you look, I don't know if you understood how a telephone would work, you would have the ABCs on the 2, and they did that for all these all the way up to Z for the operator. So you would do that because a lot of times back in the old days, they didn't think people could remember a 7-digit phone number. So they would say, like, they would have a name and then the last 4 digits of the phone number. They think they could remember 4 digits. So it would be like Bentwood 4234. And then you'd have to go B for Bent. And then, so that would be that they would use the first 3 letters. And that's how I thought people could do it. But now, that's just how it used to be. As you can see, I'll show you. Here it's called a D1 USA. So it gives, let you know the model of it. And then on the headset, right here, you can see it's Western Electric, and this is an E1 headset on this D1 telephone. And again, you could exchange them for different headsets if you wanted to, but this is the unit. It's you can see it's not big at all, and it's just so classy. So this is the box. This is I guess the guts almost for the telephone. And as you can see here, it just says made in the USA, Western Electric. I unscrewed that for you too, so we could open it up and take a look on the inside. And here you can see you've got your bells. There's your ringer. And then this would be hooked up to basically the electric of the telephone company that would send the signals. And then you can wire there for your telephone, to go for your jack. But this is what this is what the inside kind of look like. Not kind of, what it does look like. And again, this could be mounted to a wall, or you can mount it to whatever you want to mount it to. Let's close that up. And you just close it up, and now it's locked. And then you can see on the inside, that's what it would look like. And that's your, I don't even know what that's called, but that's the unit that holds the bells. So here you go. This is the 202 Western Electric telephone. This is probably mid-30s, I would say. It might be towards the end of 38, but I think it's like 30 to 38 when they made these. And then the 303 came out after that. So just to give you an idea of the telephone. It's kind of a cool thing. Again, if you're interested, I probably will be putting this on Derek Does, so check it out. I don't know when I will, but I think I'm going to sell it, so that's right where I'll put it on derekdoes.com. And there's other stuff. There's like vintage jackets and things along that nature too. That's also on there that from other videos. That's where I've been putting some things. But this is it. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you enjoyed this sort of content, please subscribe. If you have any questions on this, I can probably answer some of it. They've made a lot of telephones over the years, and there's all different models, and you can find them online. More information on that if you're interested. That's that on that. If people like this video, if you comment and you kind of want to see the wall telephone, I'll do a video on that also, because that's an interesting telephone too, and it looks cool. All these things are more for visuals in your house than really for actual use anymore, although these are perfectly fine using. And if the telephone Wi-Fi ever goes out type thing, it might be handy to have a landline if you needed one. So there you go. So I'll see you on the next Derek Does. Thanks for watching, and I'll give you a call.